Incremental games are everywhere on Steam right now, and arguably they're not that hard to make. Simple shapes, CRT shader, boom! You made an incremental game! But the genre is getting pretty oversaturated. Most of the games kind of look and feel the same, which is exactly when I thought I should make one.
What?
I had an idea I thought could actually stand out. A puzzly, space mining incremental game. So I figured, let's hop on this incremental train. So after releasing my first game on Steam, Replicat, a roguelike memory deck builder, it didn't exactly skyrocket, but look at this. 99% positive, over 200 plus reviews. It's a great game. You should check it out. Anyway, I was thinking about what to do next. I had this idea to combine Vampire Survivors and FTL, which would be an amazing game. It would also take about almost 2 years to make. And I had just moved to Berlin. Beautiful city, very inspiring, also very expensive. Mostly expensive. So I needed to ship something faster. And that's when Incremental started to make a lot of sense. I'd already made a couple of incremental prototypes in game jams, so the mindset was kind of there. Then one day, I was helping a friend who's trying to get into game dev. He wanted to make a game based on a mobile game called Arrows. You click these snake-like arrows in the right order to release them and clear the grid. But he was planning to keep it very close to the mobile version. Just a puzzle game with levels. For Steam? Steam players usually expect more originality, more personality, deeper systems. So I told him, but if you made it an incremental game...
Oh my god!
He was still leaning towards the original route, but he said, I'll think about it. On my way home, I couldn't stop but think about making this Arrows incremental game. To convince my friend, I quickly started making a prototype. I was already working on a mobile port of Replicat, so I didn't have much time. Please don't judge me. I use AI to write the grid generation algorithm.
We will remove the AI later in the video.
The algorithm placed snakes so none of them would get stuck. I quickly added some code and now clicking them makes them leave the grid. The next day, after working on Replicat mobile port, I found some time to go back to the prototype. I cleaned up the visuals and threw in the holy CRT filter. I added a time mechanic. You lose the round after a few seconds. I called it energy so I could justify it in upgrades later. And I kept thinking about how to add more depth. What if there were walls and you had to destroy them? Okay, that felt really satisfying. That's when I started seeing this as a mining game. I added hit points to the walls, imagining them as mineable resources. And of course, like every other incremental game, we needed an upgrade tree. I only had time for 4 upgrades. Well, it's a start. But I was a bit worried, because the core mechanic is essentially a puzzle game, and time pressure and puzzles don't always get along. If you think about the classic game flow diagram, adding a timer pretty quickly pushes the player experience towards anxiety and frustration. But after a few experiments and some balancing, I realized this is not 100% a puzzle game. It hits this sweet spot where you need to think just a tiny bit, but most of the satisfaction comes from releasing the arrows and watching the grid clear. And in most round-based incremental games, if players earn some resources even when they lose, they're usually fine with it. They leave with a little prize, then get a dopamine hit from spending those resources on upgrades. And then comes the motivation. Okay, let me try that level again with my new powerful build. At that point, I was convinced.
Oh, I'm convinced.
This is fun. This is satisfying. Let's keep going. I quickly recorded some footage and sent it to my friend. He was surprised I got all of that done in a single day. I've been doing rapid prototyping in the mobile game industry for years, and I have joined more than 60 game jams, so making quick prototypes is kind of my thing. After seeing the footage, he agreed the idea has potential. We started throwing new ideas at each other, but we kept clashing on where to take the game. And I said, "Hey, I found this idea thanks to you, but I feel like I'm trying to make it my own." He said he didn't actually have time for this project and told me to actually just make it my own. And so I said, "No, you take it." He said, No, you take it. Take it. Well, okay, you win. It's my game now. So remember that AI grid algorithm from earlier? It was working fine, as long as you stayed under about a 12 by 12 grid. Anything bigger started scaling like crazy. Minutes, then hours, just to generate one grid. Obviously, that was not acceptable. I spent around 3 hours chatting with AI, trying to fix its own terrible algorithm and make it faster. And then it sent me this. "I think you are tired. It's quite late. Maybe we try this in the morning when you're fresh."
Stop it. Get some help.
I'm not tired, and you suck. So I deleted the AI algorithm and rewrote it from scratch. It took about 20 minutes. And now it generates a 30 by 30 grid in about half a second. Much better. So here's how the generator works. Before I add any snake arrows, I first drop in some wall chunks on the grid. Then I start placing snakes one by one. Every time I add a snake, I check if that snake can actually escape the grid. If it can't, I remove that last snake and try again in a different location. Once we hit the target number of snakes for that level, I stop adding new snakes and fill all the remaining empty tiles with single tile walls. There was one more problem. If you try to fill a big grid with only very short snakes, that meaning like 1 or 2 tiles long, you need a ridiculous number of them. So I reduced the chance of short snakes spawning. That gave me a good balance between longer and shorter arrows, and it kept generation time under control. With the AI out of the way, I built a system that reads difficulty configs and generates levels from them. Things like grid size, number of walls, minimum and maximum snake length, maximum wall chunk size, all driven by config. That let me create a level progression that starts simple and gradually adds more complexity in later levels. And because it's all procedural, each run still feels a bit different, even at the same difficulty. At this point, I wanted the game to feel more like a proper incremental, not just a timing puzzle. So I split the economy into 2 main resources. When you release a snake arrow, you get a basic resource. And when you destroy walls, you get another resource, more like ore from mining. Then I started adding upgrades to make those resources actually matter. This one upgrade gives you more resources based on the length of the arrow. So long snakes are basically your premium drilling contracts. Another upgrade turns 1-tile snakes into little batteries. When you release them, you gain some energy back. I added different colored arrows that deal more damage to walls, and upgrades that increase the chance of spawning those special arrows. There's even a special upgrade that lets red arrow hits bounce to neighboring walls, creating little chain reactions that chew through the minefield. At some point, I had to make the game actually look like something. I knew I wanted it to be a mining game, but more abstract and sci-fi. So I pushed it into space mining. I started with a very simple resource cube, just a basic ore block. Then I made 2 more damaged versions so I could swap them as the block takes hits. Very old school solution, very Doom. Still works like a charm. For the arrows, I tried a bunch of different looks. I wanted them to stay abstract and simple so the whole game feels cohesive. At the same time, I leaned into some space theme. If this is space mining, what's actually doing the mining? I ended up imagining flying snake-like drills with laser turrets on their heads. The tail carries the energy, the head fires the laser, and together they chew through the ore. Then it was time for the most important part of my indie game, the bloom. I adjusted the bloom so the lasers glow a little bit. Just a little bit. Okay, the game just visually leveled up. For the background, I threw in some quick asteroids. I didn't even UV them properly. They look fine from a distance.
Surprise, motherfucker!
Then I added a point light that follows the mouse and only affects the background rocks. Just a little extra parallax and shine to make everything feel more alive. Wait, what's this? The video is asking for likes. Imagine a world where you don't need likes or subscriptions. Unfortunately, I live in this one where the algorithm is basically a second landlord. Rent is due. Please pay in likes. The game looked decent and felt satisfying, but I wanted more depth and some pacing changes. So I added time-based obstacles. They switch between stable and unstable states. You need to hit them while they're stable. If you shoot them at the wrong time, they explode and eat a big chunk of your energy. I also added rifts. They're like puzzles inside the puzzle. They block the path of certain snakes, so you have to deal with those lanes before the rest of the grid opens up. Finally, I started adding boss levels. Different bosses patrol around the grid. Some heal walls and obstacles, others shoot beams that disable your drills, so you can't click them for a while. Each boss level comes with optional challenges. If you complete them, you earn a special resource, which you can spend on special upgrades. Think of it as a VIP store. Damn! These challenges might ask you to defeat the boss, finish a level under a strict time limit, or clear it without making any mistakes. Games like Outhold do this really well, and I wanted that kind of replayability here too. And since everything is procedural on top of that, there's a lot of replayability. More replayability. More. I was having a lot of fun with the game myself, but like I did with my previous project, I needed a sanity check. So I sent builds to some friends and a few streamers. Around 15 people ended up playing it, and several of them got hooked for more than an hour in a single session.
In reality, I'm just jealous, okay? I'm just jealous. I'm jealous how polish you're making everything.
Even Joe from Indie Game Clinic, my favorite game design critique YouTuber, played it and gave design feedback on stream. Seeing other people get into it made me much more confident this was worth pursuing.
I'm really impressed with that, like 40 days of work. And I think that hit a real sweet spot between types of thing for me. It's the sort of loath to put a timer in this and make it more of like an action puzzle game, but for me that was way more compelling to keep trying and keep going, and you know why I played it for a bit longer. I think the fact that you had the time limit and you were upgrading all of those things, if that was just like a very slow thinky game with like a massive sprawling puzzle, I don't think I would get the same thing out of it.
Once I felt the core was solid, I decided I should make the itch.io page public and start asking for feedback. Though the bigger step was setting up a Steam page as early as possible. I named the game Orebital Dynamics. That's the company we're working for in the game's universe, doing deep space mining missions and uncovering weird things in the void. The page is up with some very temporary assets I made with my extremely limited Blender and Photoshop skills. Yes, I will pay an artist soon. These are just holding the line for now. If you want to support the project, you can play the alpha on Edge and drop a wishlist on Steam. Links are in the description. I want to close this video with a quick alpha trailer for Orebital Dynamics. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.